Hi and welcome to the Hope Channel. Today I am just honored and blessed to have this woman who has been an inspiration, and her story of living life has just shared so much hope about God and who He is. It's been an amazing testimony to watch. So without further ado, I will have her share her story.
Hi, I'm Melody, and I have a beautiful family of 2 boys and my husband, and I have been married almost 20 years. My first son was diagnosed with autism at the age of 3, and then my second son at the age of 3, a couple years later, was diagnosed with stage 4 neuroblastoma cancer. For the last 6 years, we've had a lot of faith and a lot of, we were trying to push our faith into believing that he was going to be healed and live a full life. There were a lot of things in the last 6 years that had happened, and it was very trying and difficult. And when you have a child with cancer, there's a lot of suffering involved. There's a lot of trial and error. There's a lot of decisions to be made. There's a lot of hurt and pain that is involved with it. So we knew that after the last treatment he was having, that the treatments were no longer working. We'd done all sorts of natural ways of trying to heal him, and nothing was working, and his cancer overtook his body, and he passed away January 8th of 2017. And he was 9 years old, so he went through 6 years of pain and suffering. But in the meantime, Elijah, my youngest, who was diagnosed, had a lot of joy. He taught me so much. As a little 9-year-old, he always had smiles on his face despite his outcome and his circumstances. And it was really something to, almost supernatural, to see this little boy going through so much and still laugh and be happy in his really hard times. He was jumping on beds in the middle of chemotherapy, you know. He was just such a joy in our lives, and we had been able to have the opportunity to let him live his dreams. And so we did that. After he passed, I was very, very, very angry. My husband and I were both angry. We had several things spoken to us, like Elijah would never die, or he would never get cancer again. So, you know, there were some damaging things happen. So it was really hard to continue to believe in God after the traumatic experience that we've dealt with, and then having those words spoken as well. So as time went on, I was so, of course it comes with the territory, heartbroken and just hurt and down, and I did not want nothing to do with God. And I would plug my ears, you know, every time I would, you know, hear worship or something. I felt like I was the analogy of plugging your ears and going, I'm not listening, la 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 la. And I didn't want to listen to what God had to say to me because I was angry at him. I would shake my hand at him. I'm so angry at you right now. And the thing is about God, he loves us no matter how angry we are. He understands. He gets it. He gets why we're angry at him. And we need to understand that that he has compassion over us, that he is our guide through these trials and tribulations. So one day, you know, hanging my head in church and listening to all these songs would make me angry. But one day, I literally pushed myself to listen to worship music. I wanted answers. I kept telling God, I want answers. Why, how, where? I just want answers. You need to give me an answer. And so I forced myself into listening to like worship music at home and just trying to figure things out so I can get myself into that atmosphere. And just one day, I kept hearing my name, Melody. Almost like an audible voice, Melody. And I was like, la la la, okay, never mind. I don't want nothing to do with it. No, never mind. And I would plug my ears and I wouldn't listen because I was so traumatized and so angry within my spirit that God didn't heal my son here on earth. And finally, after about an hour of listening to worship, the song came on. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. I heard my name one more time, said Melody, and finally I just went, what? What do you want from me? And I was shaking my hand, what do you want, God? And I'm just bawling in tears. I can't do this on my own anymore. I'm so angry. I'm in so much pain. I miss my son so much. I just so much was going through my head, my heart, my spirit, everything in my soul. I was screaming at God, what do you want from me? How do I do this? Where do I go? And I was thinking that there should be some sort of maybe chastisement. You need to do this and this and this. No. You know what I heard? Melody, I love you. And everything changed from then on. And I said, but what, God? Where do I go from here? Because you say you love me, but these things happened. All these things happened, and I don't understand how, this loving God could allow this kinds of things happen. And then he just started revealing me his love. It just started overpouring, and I began to understand that we live in a world full of sickness and disease and sin. And it's the enemy that brought this on to us. It is because of the enemy. The enemy comes to kill, steal, and destroy, and he likes to kill our very souls within. And it is his job, it is his duty to rip us away from God, no matter how he's going to do it. And he can bring death. He can kill your child just to try to rip you away from God. And I began to understand this motive that the enemy was putting on me. And so I said, God, what do you want me to do? I fell to my knees and I began to weep, and I wept for 2 hours. And he just started pouring his love, and it changed me. It changed my life. It changed me. And he says, Elijah is okay. He's with me. He's okay. And he began to put his protective wing over me. And he says, I am protecting you. I am guiding you through this. I am your comforter, and I am your friend. And I began to realize that God is my friend through this. I stopped blaming God. And I began to understand what the enemy was trying to do. So what I had done is I took my anger from God and I put it to the enemy. And I am now working on surrendering all I am, because you know what I want? I want revenge on the enemy. I want revenge. I'm going to say, God, you do not have control over my soul. My revenge is to see my son again, to make my soul to God, to be in everlasting. And this is where my hope lies. This is what salvation is. I am so grateful for God's salvation, that I can be saved, that I can pray that prayer of salvation, so I can be saved, so I have that hope to look forward to salvation, to look forward to going to heaven, to look forward to seeing my son again in heaven, in eternity, in life, and grabbing my hand. That is my goal. So if there's any type of hope that I can give anybody out there in the world, is don't give up in your circumstances. Don't blame God. Don't be angry at him. It is him who comforts you in your time of need. It is him who helps you get through that. Lean on your salvation. Your salvation is your hope, because there is eternal life. I refuse to think that my son is just in the ground for the rest of eternity. There has to be an eternal life after this life, and I refuse to believe that he's just in the ground. There is a God, there is hope, and there is salvation, where when we die, and some of us die earlier than others, that we can go and look forward to living eternity. And I cannot wait for the day. I cannot wait for the day for me to grab my son's hand again and just give him hugs again. And God, and I thank God that he is my salvation and my hope, and that's where I lean my hope. And since that day, he had changed me. I have this peace within my soul, deep within my soul, that it's okay. And I've had Elijah visit me a couple of times in my dreams since then, telling me he's okay, and he would hold my hand and he would hug me and just say, Mommy, I'm okay. And it's it's something that I can't explain to other people unless you have experienced it yourself. So if you are coming across this video and you've experienced it yourself, just know that God doesn't hate you. Just know that he's not against you. He is for you, and he wants you to thrive. And I just know that Elijah wants me to be happy, and because he was a joyful child, he was a happy child, and I know that he wants me to be happy. He wants my family to be happy, and I have another child to be happy for. So I need to be joyful for my other child. And so I've been working so hard on this thing called hope. If you've lost hope today, I just want to encourage you to not give up on your situations, on your life, that there is hope, that there is a rainbow at the end of the storm, that God will get you through. And just to lean on him in times of loss and pain and hurt. God will guide you through. Just follow what he wants you to do, and he will guide you to the right people, the right place, to finally find some hope and start a healing process. Some people don't get over it so quickly. Yeah, I will never get over it. I will always be angry that Elijah is not here anymore. But you know, God gave us those feelings for us to feel. We're allowed to feel those feelings. We're allowed to be angry. We're allowed to be sad and grieving. And we just shouldn't stay there. We should lean on God, who is our comforter. And he provides everything he needs for us. So thank you for listening to this testimony. And I hope that I can give somebody out there hope today to never give up.
Melody also has a YouTube channel that you can follow, and Family of Hope Blogs. I will probably be able to put up a link on this. Anyways, thank you for listening, and I know that it has touched your life. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thanks.